Stomp, Shout, Scream is a Bigfoot comedy with a 60s jam band thrown in there. It's kind of a weird mix and something I've never seen before, but it was written and directed by Jay Edwards, who has done a lot of Adult Swim cartoons, like The Brack Show, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So expect that kind of humor going forward. Just to make things clear, this was filmed in 2005, but it's set in 1966, and it starts out simple enough. A young girl is walking across the beach. The cops are out patrolling the area and they find her, but like Newt from Alien, she's not talking. So Deputy Tillis takes her back to town to see the doctor, while his partner tries to find her parents. But instead, he finds something else. Some debris washed up on the beach after a hurricane, and I guess it smells awful. He reaches in and, well, that's the end of that guy. A pretty effective way to get things started. Okay, I'm on board. Let's see what this movie's got. Next we see the Violas playing at a dive bar. They're an all-female rock band hoping to make it big, but it seems like they have a long road ahead of them. They do have one fan, however, Hector, who tries to get them to play for a party he's throwing, but having other gigs to get to, they head off. At the doctor's office, we can tell that physically, there's nothing wrong with the girl, but she's still not talking. The only thing the doctor can think of is that she's in shock. Not hearing from his partner, Tillis decides to go to the beach and have a look around. And sure enough, he finds him in pieces. Now the whole force goes to the beach to investigate, and they find Bigfoot prints in the sand. This is where we meet Bob.
Bob? Yes. Oh, geez,
My favorite character in the movie. He's definitely comic relief. He plays it pretty straight, and he's just likable. The sheriff, wanting to keep this all hush-hush, asks Tillis who he told about all this, which isn't too many people, but one of them is his ex-son-in-law, John Patterson, biologist, who's coming down to the island to take a look.
Hi.
Back to the girls, who didn't make it too far. Their car broke down and they're stuck on the side of the road. But, convenient for them, John just happened to be driving by and he offers them a ride back into town so they can get their car fixed. And the mechanic? Their biggest fan, Hector, from the show they just played. He can fix their car, but he doesn't have the parts and he can't get them till tomorrow. So they're stuck in town for the night. And, more importantly, they're gonna miss their next show. At the police station, John shows up and takes a look around. He sees the casts made at the beach, and that gets him interested.
It looks like a big gorilla foot, doesn't it?
They all go to the autopsy for the other officer, and the doctor says it looks like an animal attack. But there's no known animal that could have done something like this. They go to try to talk to the little girl, and Bob brings a piece of the debris with him, which the smell triggers the girl, and she starts screaming, skunk ape, over and over again. This is when John opens up about his past with the beast. His parents were wildlife researchers, always out in the field. One trip, they let him tag along, but when they went into the swamp, they left him alone, and they never returned. The police found the boat, and it smelled exactly like the debris. That smell is something you never forget. On the beach, we see one of our band members, Theodora, and we also get our first look at Bigfoot, which is pretty disappointing. It just looks like a guy in a suit, and not even a special suit. This is something they got at a day after Halloween sale at Spirit Halloween. You can do better, guys. Theo runs into John, and because they're both staying at the same hotel, he walks her back. As they walk, she talks about her career as a musician and blah blah blah, yada yada yada, real hard life. No time for a relationship, yeah, we get it. The next day, they all notice that the pile of debris is gone, washed out to sea. John speculates that this was the beast's nest and that it washed ashore during the hurricane. So, you're telling me that a hurricane picked up this pile of sticks and floated it out to sea for days with a Bigfoot in it? I want to see that movie. It would basically be Castaway, but with the skunk ape. But now it doesn't have a home, and it will be looking for a new place to settle down. John wants to capture the creature, to study it. The sheriff wants to kill it, to get revenge for the officer that died.
How do we find it and kill it?
Back to the girls, who are quickly running out of money. They have just enough to pay for the hotel bill, but not for the car. That's when Hector makes a generous offer. It's all on him. He'll pay for everything, even the hotel, if they just play at his party he's throwing. They'd be fools to turn that down, so they all agree to stay just one more night, do the show, then leave this island forever. Theodora is starting to loosen up a little bit, and she goes out with Hector, but something's holding her back from fully falling for him. The next day, the girls go to set up and do a sound check. While they play, Bigfoot watches them from a distance. Who knew he was into 60s rock music? But then John sees him in the shadows. By the time he gets to him, he's gone. With a couple hours to kill before Hector's party, John and the other two girls go get some food, while Theo and Hector walk on the beach. John learns a little bit more about Theo's past, that she met a guy, fell head over heels for him, then got, well, her heart broken.
Sweet summer romance left her with a bad case of
broken heart.
On the beach, we see Hector shoot his shot, and it doesn't go so well. Theodora pushes him away and runs all the way back to the hotel to feel sorry for herself. After a little bit of sulking, she realizes that she does want to be with Hector and runs back to the beach to be with him. And here is where we get the weirdest scene in the whole movie. But remember, this was made by the same guy who did this.
Whoa! Look who's here, young people. It's none other than Duke Fartknocker.
The police track the Bigfoot
Skunk ape.
to an old fort. There's some drama between John and the sheriff, who still wants to kill the creature. Eventually, the sheriff gets John out of there so he can shoot it. But it gets to him first, then escapes and heads right to the party, where he starts dancing. Is this supposed to be funny? Because it isn't. The crowd notices the smell and everyone goes running. Bigfoot gets shot and John thinks it's all over, but surprise, it's gonna take more than that to kill Bigfoot.
Skunk ape.
I love you.
He gets up and kills Hector just as Theo confesses her love for him, and Beauty is kidnapped by the beast. He ends up taking her back and doctoring her up, not hurting her. She wakes up and runs away, but the creature doesn't chase after her. He just lets her go.
He wrapped my leg and then he left me.
The next day, the sun comes up with no sign of the skunk ape. They think that another hurricane washed it out to sea. John gives a heroic speech saying that he knows it's not dead. The force of nature is too strong. And that was Stomp, Shout, Scream. And I have some mixed feelings. There are parts that did make me genuinely laugh. But then there are some really dumb scenes too. I like the little syphilis song. It came out of nowhere and was pretty funny. But would it have killed them to make a good-looking costume? I understand. This is a comedy, and you can't have some big scary suit. But you could have done something better. Heck, Bigfoot's in children's movies where the suit isn't scary at all, and it actually looks great. Here, it's so obviously a man in a gorilla suit, and I just hate it when they use off-the-shelf costumes in movies. I do like how they called it a skunk ape specifically, though. Not too many movies go with the Florida version of Bigfoot. There's also a scene where the skunk ape is running around the beach and chattering. It sounds a lot like the Sierra sounds. So I like to think that they at least did their research. This movie actually won 3 awards, believe it or not. Best Cinematography, Best Set Design, and then Best Feature at the Magnolia Independent Film Festival. I do have to agree with them on the cinematography and the set design. It was all really pretty good. But Best Feature? I don't know about that. That's a stretch. I'd hate to see the other movies that this was up against. Stomp, Shout, Scream is okay, and it has its moments. If you like Bigfoot comedies, then definitely watch it. If you want more serious horror creature features, then I'd say stay away. I give it 2 Bigfoot castaways out of 4.
Shout, scream, stomp, shout, scream.
Actor, there's something I need to tell you.
You already have a huge foam cowboy hat.